All right, class, today I'm going to go over lesson 32, which is the initial values of linear functions. And so our goal is going to be to use a function table to find the linear equation that would go with that, and specifically the initial value. So when a linear function crosses the y-axis, that's considered the initial value. So what I'm talking about is this. If we have a coordinate plane, oops, there we go, using the wrong tool. Okay, so if we have a coordinate plane like this, and we have our line or our linear function, the initial value is this dot right here, the spot where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, we call that the initial value. The initial value. So crosses the y-axis when the x-axis, right? This is our x-axis. X-axis. When the x-axis is 0. So when x is 0, that is our initial value on a linear equation. So we're going to take some notes on this today, and we're going to take a look at what that is. And remember, when we're dealing with our input-output tables, x is kind of our input, and y is kind of our output. So one way to find the initial value of a linear function is to solve the equation where the input or x equals 0. So use our formula y equals mx plus b, where m represents the rate of change and b represents the initial value of the linear function in order to solve. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, I'll write our steps out here. 1, okay, find the slope, okay, find the rate of change or the slope, and then 2, substitute values of x and y and m into the equation.
What is that? 7, 2?
Substitute x, y, and m.
8, 2.
Okay. And step 3 is solve for b. So those are our 3 steps. And this is going to be very similar to what you guys did in lesson 29 and in lesson 31. And this is kind of combining all this together in one final review. So the first thing we need to do for this example here is we've got our y2 value, our second y value, and our y1 value, our first y value. We've got our x2 value and our x1 value. And we're going to do what we've done before, which is find the slope or our rate of change. Step 1, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And this is going to give us the slope, or what we call m, in our y equals mx plus b. Okay? So y2 is 12, y1 is 6, so 12 minus 6, over x2 is 4, x1 is 2, 4 minus 2. So we have 12 minus 6 over 4 minus 2. So 12 minus 6 is 6, 4 minus 2 is 2. So we have 6 over 2, which is 3. So m is 3. Okay? So now we know what that is. We're going to do step 2. Substitute x, y, and m into an equation. So we got to pick 2 x and y values that belong together, like 2 and 6. And we're going to take our equation of
8, 1.
y equals mx plus b. And we're going to plug in what we know. So our y value that we picked is 6, because that was right here. So 6 equals m, which is 3, right? Because m is 3. X, the x value we picked is 2. So 3 times 2, because it's m times x, plus b, which we do not yet know. And I'm actually going to write b in yellow. Plus b. And so now we start working backwards to solve. So 3 times 2 is 6. And that equals 6 plus b. And so now we start working our equation backwards to solve. So we can subtract 6 from each side. 6 minus 6 is 0. 6 minus 6 is 0 plus b. We're left with just b on that side. So 0 equals b. So now we know m equals 3 and 0 equals b. So we can write our whole equation, but our goal was really just to find b and make sure that we know how to do that very well. So our whole equation is y equals 3x plus 0. So our answer to this would just be b equals 0. Because that's all we're really doing today, is just finding the initial value, practicing to make sure we know how to do that. So again, our steps are find the slope. We did that. M equals 3. Substitute x, y, and m. We did that right here. This was our step 2. This was our step 1. And then step 3 was solve. Solve for b. And we did that too. So with that being said, you can get to work on your spectrum book. Today you're going to be working on page 75 and I believe 76. So with that being said, good job and good luck.